Hey everyone, Walsh here from Thin on Defense, and today I'm going to bring you a review of the Grey Ghost Gear transport bag. Now if you haven't noticed though, we're having to do things a bit of the grand thumb style because it's a little bit snowy outside.
If you've ever smelled an MRE while you're outside doing ballet, go ahead and smash that like button down below.
Before we get to that Grey Ghost Gear transport bag review though, I want to say thanks to all of those Patreon supporters. You're the ones that make these reviews possible, and I love the fact that we have all this reviewed gear that we're able to give back to you. I also want to say thanks to everyone that likes, comments, and subscribes. Some of you get so mad about what I do or how I use something, and it's amazing. I just love talking to you. It's fascinating. The guys over at Grey Ghost Gear were also nice enough to give us a discount code, so I'll put the discount code down here, and I'll also link to it down in the description below. If you want to save yourself a little bit of money on any of the Grey Ghost gear shown today, or any of the gear on their website, you can use it for anything listed there. So this Grey Ghost Gear transport bag, just to give you a little bit of background, this, along with my mystery ranch bag, is pretty much all I use when going back and forth to the range. Now, that doesn't seem like much, but the fact that I'm going back and forth for multiple optic reviews, or handgun use, or long-range rifle, I have to bring a lot of different things, from video equipment to actual range bags. So the transport bag counts as my main range bag. It's my most versatile bag. I change it around in a lot of different setups. So I want to show you some of the details of that bag, and then show you some of my different usages that I do, depending on what I'm going to go do each day that I go out and shoot. Alright, let's break down that bag and let me show you what it can do. Alright, so here's our Grey Ghost Gear transport bag. It's got a sweet little logo on the front. I'll show you what all these pouches have in them. First I want to start, it has a shoulder strap. I really do like this because see how it's kind of curved like this? You can flip it to either side just by removing it from the clasp over here. And you can remove it or keep it on or reverse it. Obviously I like it left-handed. Here on the front you can see all the different things I store in here. I keep a Sharpie in here if I need to mark some targets. And then I keep my range book. This shows me my notes for shooting, or my references, or my dope, all the different things I keep track of at the range. Make sure you have a range book. And then inside here I have a little bag to collect brass in, so it's not just floating around all over. Inside here are my shooting glasses. You guys love to identify in the comments when I forget to put my glasses on, so please continue to do that. Now, I'm sure a few of you have noticed that there are actually mag pouch holders on the outside of the bag, but I really don't like to carry this way. I know some people like this whole gray man niche. I don't know, I'm not fooled by any of that, but I just don't like carrying around a bag and people obviously knowing exactly what's inside there. So when you do it that way, you can load up a bunch of magazines on the outside. I think you can load up 5 actually, but it's very obvious what you're carrying, and there's very obviously magazines there. I like to be a little bit more discreet. I don't think I'm fooling anyone, and I think anyone that does is a little bit crazy, but it's not quite as obvious. It's just not quite in your face. It's not my preference. I like to put the magazines inside the bag. So as I've shown you here, this front pouch can then be used to hold like 5 or 6 different magazines if you wanted to actually put your M4 magazines in it. Let me show you what else is on the side here. So on the side pouches, they're pretty big and you can fit a lot of stuff inside them, and they have the clasp and they have a little pull tab in order to keep it tight. So it's held with both the clasp and the Velcro, so nothing's really going to come flying out. Inside here I have my red field binoculars. These are nothing spectacular, but I can see the targets, and I guess we all have to start somewhere, right? We'll just put these back away before you make fun of me, and I'll put these back in my bag. And the other side, same, it has the clasp and the Velcro. Hidden inside this little pouch here, I have my Peltor 300s. These are really nice. I like how they have directional sound. I got a cool little head wrap on them, so these are really pretty cool. And then inside the pouch, I also have some batteries. I forgot I had those in there. And then I also have some ear protection if I need to shoot indoors. It's just nice having an extra layer. Alright, we can close this up. Now let me show you real quick what's on the back side. So the back side's actually just completely flat. There's no extra pouch. It's not on either side. It's just going to be on one side. So let me show you the inside then. So normally I keep 2 different rear bags inside here. I don't really need them both. I don't know why they're both in here. There's also 2 small zippered pouches on the inside. On the left I have a package of some snap caps that I like to bring to the range with me. I found these to be super useful. So I've plugged dry fire ammo on this channel quite a bit, from its training aspects to the way it can help you diagnose malfunctions and train through them. but also I found it's really useful, particularly when I'm out recording or going out to the range, if I have a rifle that isn't quite performing properly, or if I have a magazine that's doing something weird. It's great to have that dry fire ammo, because then I can just run it through the rifle and see what's going on and help to diagnose the problem. In addition to diagnosing problems, they're also a great training aid. I love to just throw them in, maybe a 15 rounder, and put a whole bunch of dry fire ammo in there. It really increases your training, because then you're working some malfunctions and you're not burning through shots at whatever it is now, $1 a shot or whatever ridiculousness it is. Also inside here I have some Loctite. You never know when you need this, when an optic comes loose and you're out the range. Then we also have more batteries. Well, apparently I've been needing some batteries lately. And inside here I have all my miscellaneous doodads. If I have my Holosun battery, I have some pistol plates, I have some random tools, some optics in case something breaks, different miscellaneous tools. So this just has a bunch of random stuff that I may need at some point. I like to just have with me. And then I have my Mantis X10. So this is if I want to do some training or if I want to measure some recoil. Inside here there's a little Picatinny rail that I could pretty much put on any weapon, and then I could throw this on if it doesn't have any sort of way to mount it. It's a pretty cool way to do it. And then I can use this to measure different results or compare them. And on this side I have 2 magazines. So like I said, I don't like to keep them stored up front. I just store them in this inside side pouch. See? These are our Cerakote ones. Then inside here I have my SIG 1800 BDX. This is a really nice rangefinder. I like it a lot because it has red illumination. But the battery does drain like crazy if you keep it in there, so I just keep the battery out of the unit. I don't know why it does that. And then I have my bore guide, which I always keep in my bag. So while this is actually just a bore guide, it's not really a bore alignment tool, but I found it to be really useful in doing a one-shot zero. So what I can do is put it inside the rifle and then be able to look down very easily. And then I can align the bore with the actual optic by keeping them locked in place. And then I can usually fire only one shot, and almost always that'll then be on paper, and then I just need to adjust the optic to line up to the impact. So let's say I shot one and the impact is 1/2 inch to the left and 3/4 of an inch high. I'll just shift 2 clicks to the left, 3 clicks up. It should get me round about in the right area, and then I'll be ready to go. And then I probably won't even shoot a second shot because of the ammo's as expensive as we just talked about. Alright, going back to the bag, some of the last few things I have in here are these actual pads. I try to keep these pads in here at all times. So I really like having the pads in my bag. They're really kind of multi-use because they'll be able to protect the different finishes of the rifles, or if I just don't want a bunch of metal rifles just banging against each other, it's not really a big deal, but sometimes I just like to completely destroy them just by carrying them around. And a lot of our guns do have some fairly nice Cerakote. Some of it is already worn, which is a cool look to it, so I guess I don't really worry about those ones. But if I have another finish I don't necessarily want damaged, I'll use those pads, or if I just want to separate different items in the bag. The pads are really multi-use from many of the different setups I use the bag for. Alright, let me show you what's on the inside, on the other side then. You have a small area of some Velcro. Then there's actually a spot for 5 pistol mags. This is usually where I store all my spare magazines. Alright, so let's put everything back in, and let me show you how I would normally configure the inside for like a regular range trip. Alright, so let's say we're heading out for a standard review and we're just going to do a normal shoot. I would probably bring some regular 5.56 and then probably some 9mm within this bag, and then I would load everything up just nicely on one side. Usually there's plenty of room to fit everything, and I can just kind of stack it all up, and I can fit everything else in there also. So I almost always bring one of the numerous battle belts with me, and you can't fit the whole battle belt in the bag. So what I'll usually do is I'll take all the individual pieces off, and then I'll put those individual pieces inside the actual bag. And then, as we talked about before, then you don't have a battle belt that has a whole bunch of magazines and whatnot on the outside that other people can see. It still looks a little ridiculous, but it's not quite as extreme. And that's another big one why I like to have the QLS system, where you can remove the holster, because then you can take it off the belt too, and then it just looks like a regular naked belt. It's not as big of a deal. So next we take all those bits from our battle belt, we clip them off to QLS, let me throw all of our magazines in there, and you can see you can fit everything in there nicely. Everything's got a nice little place for it. And then we have our 2 M4 magazines, but we don't really need those because we got 2 of them hidden in here already, so we'll just leave these ones behind. And then we may have a random doodad, like I have some sort of optic recording device. If I need to put it in there, it's a super weird shape and a pain to carry. And then if I need an extra tripod, I can throw that in here also. So then I have all the video recording gear that I may need for any optic, really. So that's kind of a typical shoot day setup, but let me show you what I would do if I were going to do something longer range. So same as before, we would grab some ammo, and there's always a nice little place to put that in here. And then I'd bring my favorite range bag, that's my tab gear bag. And if you really want to make everybody mad, bring some really junk ammo. That'll make all the comments go crazy. And then I bring my side shot, so then I can look through the actual optics and record what I'm actually seeing through the actual scope, so that's cool. But yeah, bring the S&B if you want to make everybody mad. But then you have everything you need. You have your glasses, you have a pen to mark things, and you have your ear pro. Everything I need in one package. Alright, so what if we want to put something a little more discreet in there? So in this case, maybe you got a little small eliminator that you want to bring with you and you want to keep a little bit discreet. So you can just pop off the front and rear takedown pins. You can just collapse it and it fits in here nicely. And you can just slide the upper and get this silly rangefinder out here. Then you can just put the upper in here and everything fits in there nicely. You can throw the rangefinder back underneath the front of the upper if you need to fit everything back in there also. I guess I could move this the other way around so that I have extra room in here if you want to fit more boxes or different miscellaneous things in the spaces here. And then you can grab whatever sling you may use. I like to take the sling off when I'm disassembling the upper and lower, and then you can just throw it in your bag and just connect it in later. And then you're all good to go. And you got a nice little discreet package. It doesn't scream at everybody what you have in there, and it's even got a cool little logo on the front. And then once you get to wherever you're going to, you can just take everything out, just quickly reassemble things, click, click, and you're good to go, ready to rock. Alright, so let's go over real quick pros, cons, and do I recommend the Grey Ghost Gear transport bag. Pros, I like how I can fit most of my range gear inside of one bag, and then I can just kind of change the inner contents as need be to kind of fit what I'm doing for the day or whatever that mission set may be. Cons, I wish the magazine pouches on the outside, like we talked about, were actually on the inside, because then I didn't need to have to just put them in that back side pouch. That's really kind of a small complaint. I don't have a whole lot of complaints. If anything, I'd want a bigger bag, but then I'd probably complain that it's too big. So maybe just leave that alone. So then if you ask me, do I recommend this bag? I do, because the proof's in the pudding. I've used this bag almost throughout the entirety of the channel. You don't ever see it, but it's always in the background. It's always back behind the camera, and it's always toting all of my things I need and all the different equipment we need, and it's proven to be absolutely awesome whether or not we're gonna go indoors or outdoors or whatever we're doing. I found this little transport bag to be absolutely fantastic. I highly recommend it. Grey Ghost Gear was also nice enough to give us a discount code for all of our viewers. I'll also add a link to it down in the description below. I hope you've learned a little bit more about the Grey Ghost Gear transport bag and all the different features and all the cool stuff that I've been able to do with it. As always though, thanks to those Patreon supporters. I got some love coming to you in the near future. You're going to get some cool stuff coming straight to you. And as always, thanks to everyone that likes, comments, and subscribes. Please get down in those comments. Tell me all the things I did wrong that made you angry. Alright everybody, take care of yourself. Wash out.
If you've ever eaten pizza off the ground and called it street pizza, go ahead and smash that like button and comment down below.
Hey, I really do love Grand Thumb.